In this video, we're going to go over the impulse of walking and jogging, and also the gait mechanics, a little bit of gait mechanics for walking and running. There are a couple videos that are kind of tied together into this one, and this one is specifically going to go over the calculation parts for the impulse, contact time, and max percent of body weight and force. And so, what we're going to do is grab a couple, well, it's going to be one Excel sheet. It will look somewhat like this. We got force, time, force F, Fx, Fy, and Fz. Fz is the up and down. The X, if I remember correctly, is the forward and backward from relative how I'm walking on the force plate, and then the Y is the left-right. Then you'll have 4 tabs. It'll have like walking barefoot, walk with shoes, jog with shoes, and jog barefoot. And you'll just need to do this 4 times. It'll be pretty quick though. Luckily, there's not too many calculations here. And we'll just need to make sure we have the weight. We don't really need the height. We just collect it because we need it. Not because we need it, but we just usually that's 2 things we usually collect: height and weight. Also age, that sort of stuff. Just something that's common that we do. So what we can do is we're going to go right ahead into looking at this. Let's start by graphing everything. So I'm just going to highlight all that, and I'm just doing Command Shift, and then I hit down on my keypad or on my keyboard here. Then we'll go ahead and create a graph. So let's take a look at that. So our Fz is our force up and down. So that's the force. Yeah, you can pretty much tell that one because this is in newtons, and we should be roughly around 700 or so newtons for at least this person. Just if they're at their body weight, and well, it goes up near 1,000 for this, almost a little bit closer to 900. Should read higher. Then our Fz didn't change too much, but our Fy did. Cool. So when the force plate for Fz is reading 0, that means that person is not on the force plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the impulse of this. So we'll start right here, right before I step onto the plate for this, or right before our person stepped onto the plate. So let's start our impulse calculation right here, equals to 2 parentheses. We got immediately right next to us. Then we'll do plus, close 1 parenthesis, divide by 2, then multiply that by the difference. Cool. So this is our impulse. Just put that on up here. It's going to be in Newton seconds. Then we'll just go ahead and drag that on down. Cool. Yeah, you may be wondering, oh, why aren't we doing the subtraction by body weight thing? Well, for our jumping and our landing, that mattered because we were doing the positive and net impulses. Positive meaning above your body weight, and negative of your impulse to look at net impulse. However, that's typically not looked at for this specific type of analysis, so we're just going to be looking at the overall impulse. And with that, so once we leave the force plate, it's reading 0. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the sum of this. Cool, about 505 Newton seconds. We can also do the contact time for this. So that's just the one time we leave the plate here, and we'll go when we first make contact. Now you may be out by just 1 millisecond or something like that, but again, it's not that critical that it's within that that window, and that's because we are using the one before and the one after for the impulse. So cool. Now that's our contact time right here. The amount of time that we're in contact with the force plate. Now we can figure out what the force will be that was on average throughout that time applied. So let's take Newton seconds and we'll multiply by contact time. Oh wait, no, my apologies. That will be divide. So about 677 newtons. Let's just verify that by taking the average for, these will be all the positive numbers. I'm just actually going to go page up to make this a little bit quicker. I didn't add any cuts, so we can't, easily or quickly go up. That's all right. Cool. All right, perfect. Yes. So this was the average. My apologies for saying multiply first. It's divide. So that's the average force applied throughout the body, throughout the foot, and to the body throughout contact time. All right, and then we got one more thing, which is going to be the max percent of body weight. I just did the up on that. All right, so what we'll do is let's go into our next column here. We're going to do equals to the force Z divided by our weight in kilograms, which is 79.9 for this specific person. We got to make sure we multiply it by 9.81 and then multiply by 100. That 100 will give us that percentile. Cool, so this right here, 32.65 newtons is 4% and so on, and so as we're applying it throughout, it's increasing, and for this specific person it looks like it peaked around 100 and something ish, so a little bit above. Looks like it tried to do it for this last one. We can just delete this one because it doesn't apply to that. What we want to know is our max here, so our max percent of our body weight. And I did that Control Shift and I hit up for that. Just went up to the top here, and we'll close that on out, or hit Enter or Return. So our max, 119%. So for this one, I would enter for the impulse 505.9697, whichever works for you, or whatever your number is. You can just round up to two decimal places for the impulse on each of these. Contact time, make sure you write all three of those numbers here. Might be 2, just in case it ended right on, an exact end digit. You can write down the force, and then write down the max percent of body weight as well. And so we'll take a look at these as we go throughout. Other than that, you'll just need to complete this and do this 3 more times at least. I don't have any more of them in here. I just made this for this video so that you'd see and use an example here. Then make sure you title this chart appropriately. So this one was the barefoot walking condition. Then you can add FZ here, or force in newtons, and then time to the x-axis, and copy and paste that on in here, and then go throughout and answer the other questions. But if you do have any questions, make sure you contact me. This is all the setup stuff before you go ahead and answer those questions. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.